Well, hello my lovelies. This is a Marzen which I brewed on the 9th of May. I kegged it on the 9th of May. It's going to be a competition entry in, I think, October, but I don't think there'll be any left. I've only just tapped it now. Check it. Head retention seems quite good. Was a full pint. Carbonation's low, so I've just turned up the regulator, secondary reg, and give it a week, see where I am. So I got a little bit of time to tinker with it. Anyway, the point of this video is my wife's got me another keg, so that'll be keg number 8, and another all-rounder for various gifts, birthday, what have you. So I've nicked the all-rounder at the box without telling her, and I've put the thermal in, just done that just a minute ago. I've put some star sand in there, or I'll give it a rinse out first, put some star sand in there, and I'm pressure testing it. So got some pressure in there, don't know if you can see that. My other all-rounder was second hand off of Chris Millington. Done some pressure tests on it because I've had it for a couple of years and it's fine. And this is my first one with the base fixed on and the easy grip handles, which is some good little tweaks there. Because at the minute on the other one, I use, this is all totally unplanned, I use this strap spanner to take it off, which isn't an issue. So I'll see how easy the other one is with it, with those easy grip handles. I haven't put the increments on there yet because to be honest, I don't really take a lot of notice of the increments. Sometimes I do just to gauge how much is going to go into the keg and whether I need to cut it short on the siphoning out or the pressure transfer out. Well, this video is for a lager I'm going to brew on Friday. Now it's Tricky's, or aka the Dude's Brews, sorry. Check him out on YouTube. You will get so much information from there. I can't stress it enough. It's like, his stuff is really informative and his knowledge is almost second to none, I'll say. He'd argue that because he's extremely modest. But he likes to tinker and he's experimented and he's awesome on recipe development, so it seems, because I've mimicked a few of his. And on Friday, it's Sunday today, but on Friday, I'm going to brew his Smells Lagery, which I've done loads and loads of times. I've actually got it on tap, but it's going to kick soon. But I'm going to do a double batch, more or less, not quite a full 46 litres in the kegs, or fermenter, sorry. But I got a 50 litre kettle, and I'm going to be pushing the limits. So normally I do full volume mashing, because I do brew in a bag. So what I'm going to do is max it out on the mash, and then I've got an old Pico boiler which I'll use as an HLT for some sparge water, and I'll lift that up, put it on the top with a drainer of some sort, and I will sparge it as best I can in the bag and see how it goes, and make basically 2 kegs worth, because these kegs of that lager always kick just as I get into the end. Well, that's pretty obvious. They always get to their best just as they get into the end. So I'm thinking, if I've got 2 kegs, then once it gets to its best and that keg kicks, I'll have another whole keg to enjoy. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. So I'll document that a little bit, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of cock-ups and boil overs and anything else that could possibly go wrong. So yeah, if you want to see my hash of trying to do a double batch, then stay tuned, and I will put another piece of his video up on brew day and throughout, and I'll try and make it a grain to glass and see where we are now. So you have a good evening, and I will catch you in a while. All right, I've just mashed in. There's about 9 kilos of grain in here. Got a bit of space there yet, but obviously I've got a sparge. It's the thickest mash I've done, but then I'm normally full volume, so it doesn't say not. There's only 3 grains in there. There's a bit of Carahel, Bohemian Pilsner malt, not the floor malted, just the standard, and some chit for head retention. I've switched from dextrin because the chit will add less body, from what I've read, but give the advantage of head retention addition. So yeah, I'm gonna set a timer and let her mash out for an hour, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, so I'm coming up to a boil. Sparge wasn't quite as good as I anticipated because I used that draining rack down there, and the grain bed just kept spreading out over the edge. So I need to invest in a colander the same size as my kettle. I rigged up this pulley because it's quite a hefty weight. It's about 9 odd kilos grain plus the water absorption. pH was a bit low. I haven't checked my gravity yet, but it seemed to go okay. It rinsed through quite nicely, and just getting every last drop out now. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Right, my boil's nearly done. I dropped on mash efficiency. I think it's because so much grain in the bag, and it compacted a bit, and time got away from me, and I didn't give it a stir. I was a fair bit down, so did a bit of research, and I added 300 grams of dry malt extract. Basically took some water out in a jug, put dry malt extract in, whisked it up, turned the elements off, mixed it back in, and put the elements back on again. And I think I'm pretty much where I should be. I'll find out in my post-boil reading. I could have extended a bit more, but I want maximum volume really, because I'm doing a double batch, so I want as much as I can in the 2 fermenters. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy for my first double batch brew. Some lessons learned. Bit of a boil over, which I knew I'd have because I was right on the max. Yeah, just got boil for another 10 minutes, and then I'll whirlpool, cool it down. So I've got the batches in. As you can see, I didn't fill them that evenly. Yeah, not too impressed about that. I haven't pitched the yeast yet because it's still too warm, still at 19 degrees. Being summer and the tap water down here is quite warm, I've put it in firm fridge, which was, as you can see there, my kegerator at one stage. Yeah, I don't think I'll be needing that heater for this lager temperature. I need a new fridge, it's rusting out like anything crazy. Anyway, I'm going to pitch the yeast when it gets down to temperature. It's dropped a couple of degrees already. It's at 19.6. So, yeah, as I said, I'll pitch the yeast tomorrow or later tonight. I think it's going to be tomorrow morning at this rate. Yeah, I missed out a lot of footage. I had a bit of a boil over on the start of the boil because I was maxed out the kettle, and yeah, I missed some numbers, but I've learnt from it. All lessons, isn't it? Right, next video will probably be on the tasting day, so see you soon. So just a little taster of the lager. It's 5 or 6 weeks old now. It smells like a lager. The original name isn't mine. Thought it was Chill Haze then, but it's a plastic glass I got from a beer festival. But yeah, it's crystal clear. Got a good head on it, nice and white, fluffy. It's so fluffy. So, as I've said before, I had a few mishaps in the brew day, and adding the dry malt extract to boost my numbers overshot, so it's now 6%, which is fine. Just means when I session it, it'll be a short session. But it was a good learning experience, and I've had a few on the back of that. I've had a couple of brews, but the mash hasn't given me the efficiency I'm used to, and I've realised on my last brew I cut down the recirculation speed, so it was really slow. I use a sparge head, like Sergeant Sparge Head, I think the brand name is Keglan. So basically shoots the work down, and it's like a little ball thing at the end, sprays it out around like in a fan, and I just had the taps open a bit more, and I think I must have been creeping and opening more and more every time I brewed. Anyway, I sort of thought I want to address this, so I read that you recirculate too hard and it compacts your grain bed, and then the work tracks through or around the edges and brewing in a bag, and you don't get as good efficiencies. So I knocked it right back, so it was fanning, but only just fanning. So it was probably halfway between the centre and the outer edge. So I thought that's a good place to sort of start. And my efficiencies were really, really good. The only other thing I did different was I stirred at the end of the mash. I gave it a gentle stir just before I stopped recirculating. I gave it a gentle stir just before I lifted the bag, just to release any sugars that were trapped in there. And I had really good mash efficiency. That was on a New Zealand Pilsner, which recipe also comes from Tricky, which is fermenting at the moment. Anyway, waffling on enough, let's get into this. Crispy, like a good lager. It's also a bit smooth as well. It's like, this almost sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I think it's the malt. It's like a real smooth malt character to it. It doesn't taste like 6%, which I know is a good thing, but can also end ugly. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I think as it proceeds, it's gonna get better even more. I say 6 weeks now, which is good lagering time. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm well happy. I'm glad I got 2 kegs of it. Well, that was a Grain to Glass, and I'm glad you could join me for it. And I will see you on the next one.